matches are coming up, and so on. For now, let's go in game. Let's get ready to introduce our players as we get started to the top right side of the map in the ZVZ from Karnage eSports. We're going to have our red Zerg player. It's Namshar. And down, let's put some music on. Down to the bottom right, we're going to have our blue Zerg player from Team Liquid. He wasn't around in Season 4 when Liquid crowned themselves as champions of the SC2ITL. But he's here now to help carry them through to victory in Season 6. And it all starts now as we have Vortex, our blue Zerg player, to the bottom right. Obviously, Namshar has always been a long-time player for Karnage eSports. He was around in Season 3 when he helped to bring Karnage into the semi-finals of the SC2ITL before losing out to SC2ITL back then. SC2ITL then went on to win the third season of the Team League, as we're going to see. Gaspool following up from a hatchery first from Namshar. So Namshar not afraid here, as early in this game both players don't quite know where their opponents are just yet. They're about to start figuring out it's not going to be horizontal spawns, and you'll very soon see vertical spawns as these overlords cross pathways. The way Vortex is opening this game has been a Gaspool hatchery, which means that he doesn't really have very many aggressive options. Okay, you'll have a fairly fast gas, very fast speed. Actually, he didn't actually. Okay, this is actually interesting. He didn't actually start up a hatchery. So I thought this was actually a bit of a mistake by me. I thought he was just expanding, but that's just me being oblivious and blind. He's actually going to be very aggressive here with this gas pool opening. I'm just a little bit intrigued because there's a bit of a later gas pool, which means he can still get his hatchery fairly quickly here. Just not as fast as I really expected it to be. So this is kind of a nice safe way to open against 13-12 or so, and it also gives you a lot of pressure, a lot of power when you're, especially in these close spawns, against hatchery first players, etc. as well. So let's see what's going to happen here as Vortex starts to move across the map with his first Zerglings of the game. As Namshar right now, well, he's dropping his Baneling nest. Of course, that's the first thing he has to do. He has to get some defensive Banelings up. Is he going to be able to save his hatchery, though? There's a long distance between the main and the natural here, and you can see Vortex already coming over here, getting ready to start working down on these couple of lings which are about to pop out. And look at that, surrounding that so that these lings are just going to get caught and try and get as much as he can. You're actually going to see both the lings get away. Vortex losing a little bit of damage time there. As we're going to see this natural expansion under fire. Queen's going to try and pull away. We'll try to get into a better position to help fight against these Zerglings. Speed's about to kick in for Vortex, which will make this a little bit hard for Namshar. Vortex continuing to commit to Lings right now, as his speed's about to finish Baneling Nest as well. But Namshar has a Baneling Nest too, so he moves in a couple of Banelings to get things started here. 2 right now. Of course, he's still going to have to take some good trades as he actually gets one Baneling snipe the other as well, and this could just be a little bit disastrous for Namshar as he starts to morph in another Baneling, but now his Queen's out in the open as well. Nothing to really help him out here. The next Baneling is going to get cancelled again, and Namshar just can't get these Banelings up just yet, as we're going to see some Banelings starting to come in towards this fight. What are they going to go for? They're just going to run on by. They're going to try and get in towards the main, and they're going to get a pretty good connection here. One Baneling for 6 lings. Namshar doesn't have very much, and he's going to try to get his Queen back a little bit further, as this Queen does pick off the last Baneling for Vortex, but Vortex starts morphing a couple more. Another Queen will fall, and Namshar's still up on drones, but that's not going to last much longer, as he has to move away. He's going to have to give up his natural. He's just not been able to get these Banelings up like he wanted to. He needed to morph them kind of a bit further back, a little bit more defensively, but now he's in trouble because there's nothing really here for him to help defend. He's going to start taking a lot of damage, and it looks as though Vortex might just be in a bit too good of a position here for game number 1. Banelings are going to run on through into the mineral lines, and Vortex is going to take his first game here for the Liquid. To the bottom left side of the map, our blue Terran player from Karnage eSports is going to be Haspe. And to the upper right, we're going to have our red Zerg player from Team Liquid. Let's hear it for Vortex. So yes, indeed, Acer did pull out of the competition. We've been trying to replace them. We do have a backup. It's not, I've been going through so many teams trying to find a backup plan, but in the end we're going to have to fall back on one of those kind of the lower down plans, which will be to invite one of the strong teams from the qualifiers in, and that'll be announced kind of tomorrow or so, most likely, as well. As we're going to see, to get us started, it's the Proxy 2-Rax. I have Haspe over to the right hand side of the map. But look at this, Vortex is going to know about this almost immediately. As he comes across the map with a drone, he's going to see immediately the lack of SCVs in this mineral. He's going to see the lack of a barracks in the base, and, well, this is just not going to be fun at all for Haspe. Vortex knows what's happening, and immediately this means Haspe kind of, he can't just build up Marines and then suddenly attack. He has to just go as soon as possible. And this is not a good map to really kind of, in general, it's not a good map to early racks on, because you look at it, I mean, where do you really bunker up? You bunker up over here. You're not going to bunker up in range of a hatchery, so it's going to be a little bit strange, a little bit weird. We'll see what Haspe wants to get done. As these proxy barracks come on down, they're going to be finishing up the third one as well. Marine production begins, and back to home orbital is on the way. And what's Haspe going to do? Just a supply depot here, I imagine. And does start that up as well. Of course, no wall or anything. So, I mean, when this fails, or if this fails, there's not really a lot to kind of fall back on at all. And let's see what happens, because Vortex, he starts up falling, starts a roach on immediately as well. So it looks as though he's just going to go into a few roaches to try and help defend this. And I'm going to see. This starting to happen very soon here. More and more Marines on the way out. 8 Lings already coming up though. And I mean, how many Marines is Haspe going to go for until he moves out? It looks as though it's going to be the 5. So 5 Marines moving out, but that road drawing is halfway done. Lings starting to move out as well. They'll probably just kind of hang around here or so. I mean, they don't really want to run into these Marines off creep or anything. The further back they held, the better of a position it'll be for them. As these SCVs, these Marines coming up the ramp, we see more SCVs coming across the map as well. I mean, this is a completely committed all-in right now from our Terran player. He starts stepping back. These Zerglings early on here, taking quite a lot of damage. The Marines getting a fair amount done. Only a couple of SCVs killed off so far by these Zerglings, but the Roach Warren is done. 5 Roaches are on the way, and Vortex, again, he knew about this early. He's been reacting very well. He's been preparing to really defend it when it hits for some time now. These Roaches already being out. Well, it's not going to be a promising... It doesn't look promising here for Karnage eSports, although there's SCVs to tank, and these first Roaches have actually taken quite a bit of damage already, but more Roaches, more Lings coming out right now. These Marines moving forwards, the Roach is getting a little bit caught there. A Roach over to the left-hand side on its own as well. Drone's going to be pulled into this also. I mean, again, all we really have to see here from Vortex is a hold. He's taking down a lot of SCVs at the same time. We're going to see him come on in with the Roaches. He's going to be able to take down the last of these Marines, and this will put an end to this attack, and wow, it looks as though these guys literally just want to head into game number 3. To the bottom right side of the map from Karnage eSports, he kind of has to pull his team out of this deficit they face right now. He has to start putting points on the scoreboard, or Karnage might be in a lot of trouble. In the red, to the bottom right side of the map from Karnage eSports, it is Forminator. With the gas first play, obviously looking for that gas pool opening. And you can see it's a very aggressive gas pool here out of Forminator, the 1312 out of Vortex. It was a slightly faster gas, but he went up a couple of drones before dropping the pool. So, a little bit more economic here. He's going to end up with a extra drone or so. It's going to be fairly even. There's going to be an extra drone for Vortex. So, for Vortex, it's a very slight lead, and he is, of course, the Blue Zerg representing... That was a bit... the Blue Zerg. The Blue Zerg player representing Liquid to the upper left. Alright, so again, this is gas pool opening, so very similar to what Vortex did on Sentinel Protocol, although I'm pretty sure this is a bit of an earlier gas pool from him this time around, and so you'll see him not really taking the hatchery quite as quickly here. As both players' first overlords begin to move across the map, the sort of first things they want to see is going to be, my opponent taking a fast gold base here, or are they not? Of course, one of the things about doing this sort of opening on this map is that when this fails, you can always take a gold base, because you're generally going to have map control with this build order. You can take a gold base fairly safely yourself, so it helps you to get back into things. And of course, if your opponent takes a gold base already to start the game, that can be quite cool too. Now, Forminator is going to see these first few Zerglings coming out. Now, he is sneaking his first Zerglings over the left-hand side of the map. So, what he's going to do is he's just going to sit defensively in his base, and he's going to be kind of very ready to counterattack with some Banelings on the other side of the map, and so on. So I like what Forminator is doing here, because Vortex is only just now going to really realize that he's playing against something very similar to what he's doing, with no hatchery down for his opponent. He's going to come into the main base now. He's going to see a few Lings and a Queen, and again, he should start to realize here, where are my opponent's units? Why doesn't he have anything? And actually right now, Vortex doesn't have anything at home, apart from just a Queen, which is a little bit out in the open, and it isn't moving back in a position right now. Okay, we'll just get there in time. As these Lings start to come in, they'll probably try and hit the mineral line. Queen will pull back into a position where these Lings can't do too much damage to it. Again, a couple of Banelings will come up over here, as Vortex has 2 Banelings coming up aggressively on this side. 1 Baneling for Forminator, so he has to control this very well, as best he can right now. Comes down the ramp. He's actually going to start taking the fight. He has a few more Zerglings on his opponent, but he's not paying attention. Huge Baneling hits. And that is a big mistake, as he gets 1 Baneling up over here, but he's going to get taken down, and that Baneling hit, well, actually, he gets another good Baneling hit over here as well, so things even up a little bit. Vortex has made a few drones, however, and will take a slight lead in that work account. But wow, the Baneling connections. If Formulator didn't run into all of them, he would have been in a pretty good position on his own side of the map. That's a little bit unfortunate. Again, he kind of made it okay. He kind of got back into it with a good Baneling connection of his own, but he just lost a few extra lings, as we're going to see both players attempting to take a gold base now. Vortex already popping his down, and will also move across the map with a few lings, a couple of Banes most likely, I feel, just putting a little bit of pressure. And again, keep the map control. The more map presence you have, the more aggressive you are, I feel, kind of safer you are as well, because, you know, if you're the player being aggressive, obviously you've got to make units, but then you're already making drones behind that, and then when your opponent defends, then you can go into some more units and kind of just play reactively, and you have that kind of cat and mouse Ling Bane game. And as we see Vortex coming across the map right now, he squeezed in a drone a couple of moments ago. And actually has a few more lings than Formulator right now. And his Baneling will want to try and come in here and try and help out. That Baneling can probably be sniped down if Formulator wants to go for it. He will get that, and he will push Vortex away. Still a 5 worker deficit here though for Formulator, and that's something obviously in time will help out Vortex. As you see him continue to be aggressive just at the front here, a little bit of trade in between the Ling Baneling. As these Banelings both in for Vortex probably aren't going to be allowed to finish. One cancelled, 2 cancelled, and the other just getting cancelled as well. As whoa, big connection out of Formulator. Didn't quite expect that one to go down. You see another Baneling connected as well. In fact, all the Banelings going to end up being used here. As well, that was a bit silly. You probably could have got 2 lings for that. But anyway, he's going to counterattack and see what he can do. And well, Vortex doesn't have much just yet, but he's got a couple of Banelings on the way. And again, it's always going to be a little bit of back and forth between the players here in this kind of cat and mouse game that is a Ling Bane. Has to keep away from these Banelings, has to try and trade well against this. Oh, that's going to be a big Baneling connection. Actually, Vortex was not quite attacking that soon enough to really be able to take down that Baneling. Queen very low here on the low ground as Formulator will continue to make units. Again, a couple drones behind, but a slight army advantage for him right now. Can he make something happen here as he morphs in a couple more Banes and gets ready to go into this? Going to move forward. He knows these Banelings are very fresh. Can he get a couple of lings onto the Queen? That'd be great if he could snipe down the Queen. He gets the Queen, and that's great. He's going to try and get a drone kill here as well, but Banelings continue to go off, continue to defend. More lings go stream in. A couple of them go straight into that first Baneling though. As we've got some Banelings here for Formulator as well. Looking to try and get some work done as connections are pretty good actually. Much better connections for Formulator. Trades much better here than his opponent as this one Baneling is just being kept alive. It will now go down, however, and that's going to be time for Formulator to turn back around and go home. However, he has built up a bit of, he's built up that kind of lack of workers. Built up from that lack of workers which he had a few moments ago. He's now a little bit ahead, and I'll be evened up here by Vortex momentarily, as he also has a Roach-Rowan dropped and on the way. So Vortex trying to get in towards the Roach-Rowan play here, trying to get into Roach play on Prime Terraces. He's got a couple of Banes out, a couple more on the way, and again, this kind of, cat and mouse between Ling Bane. We'll just continue on either side for a little while longer until the Roaches really do start coming out for either player, as Formulator is continuing to scare me. We've seen him a couple of times already in this game show that he's not been the best at pulling his lings away from Banelings at the right time, so getting a little bit scared here or there as he will finally be able to get rid of these, and he'll be able to start going up against these lings, but he doesn't quite have enough to really continue fighting, and we'll have to pull back. He has got a couple of Banes, as you see the first 6 Roaches on the way for his opponent, as he starts up another few lings as well. He's got a Roach one, but he's not going to have Roaches super quickly here himself. I mean, 7 Roaches already out for his opponent, and he doesn't really have that much money to start his own Roaches. He's going to be able to afford about 4. And this is sort of just the kind of slightly, it's been fairly even trades for the most part. But Vortex has had them few extra drones for a little while longer, and them few extra drones is really where the difference will start to come into play here. There's 5 Roaches on the way up. I think defensively, though, Formulator should more or less be okay. When he gets a couple more Roaches out and he's got his lings already, I think he should be able to defend this. But the problem is he's going to defend this, he's still going to be behind on workers, so let's see what happens. As we see these lings and Banes, a couple of Roaches as well, look, let's see what we can get up to. First Bane connections going down on either side, nothing too major just yet. As there's still a couple of Banes left on either side, doesn't really want to run lings into them Banes, either player that is. As this Baneling over here is going to look to try and get something. The Roach is doing a good job of sniping down the Banes where they can, but the lings start to come in, surrounded from Vortex, giving him that little bit of extra damage, and that's just going to help his Roaches survive a little bit longer. Queen here will help a little bit as well, as again, Formulator cannot afford to lose drones, so he can't really afford to pull drones into this. He has to defend this, because losing drones would put him behind on the work account, further behind than he already is, as the lings are streaming out for both players and coming in here. But does Vortex just have a little bit too much right now? The lings streaming in, this Roach in a pretty good position, stopping a complete surround from going down. Behind this, Vortex added on a few more drones of his own. He's continuing to go into Zerglings and Roaches as well now, and continue to reinforce this fight because he has just gained enough of an edge to be able to push on through. The gold base is broken, the drones are falling, and Vortex is going to push Fulminator back into his main. Not too much else that can be done here. GG well played will be called, and Vortex of highlight videos and stuff like that to show you guys as well to fill time. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of different things, a lot of different bits and pieces for you guys to check out during the kind of between matches. It's just going to be a little bit weird for the first week when there obviously hasn't been very much content, and I was at DreamHack and I was a bit lazy, didn't get any qualifier highlights or anything done, so you can all flame me for that, but just so you guys know. Anyways, let's talk ZVZ for the third time in this series. Now, so on the left side of the map, we're going to have our blue Zerg player from Team Liquid. It is Vortex, wearing that liquid blue in-game. As his opponent wears the Karnage red from Karnage eSports. A red Zerg player, it is Poo-Poo here to try and even things up. And both players go for the hatchery first, so right away we might see this game just going a little bit longer than the previous ones. Let's hope so. Let's hope we... I really... You know, it'd be really cool to see Vortex all-kill, and, you know, getting for all-kills is always very exciting, very great for the players. It's a great statement for Liquid to say, look, I mean, hey guys, literally, look at us. We are the team to beat. We are not going to kind of go easy on anyone. We're here to win, and we're going to do it in style. And that'd be great if they could all-kill, but it'd also be great if Karnage, obviously one of the... You know, you're not expecting Karnage to be kind of one of these tip-top teams who are winning every week, who are at the top of the league. You know, they've had very promising seasons of the Team League in the past. They've had very strong results. They finished 3rd place in Season 3, but that was a long time ago, when the league was a little bit weaker. In general, Karnage are going to be one of these kind of mid-tier teams who can definitely take games off of the top teams, who can definitely give the other teams runs for their money, who can definitely win matches against some of the other middle-of-the-class teams. But they're not going to be the favourites against Liquid. They're not going to be the favourites against Millennium, you know. If they made it to the playoffs, they're going to be one of the teams where people go, whoa, Karnage made the playoffs? That's sick. How did they manage that? So, it would be great for them to take a map here just to, you know, show, like, hey, you know, we may not be able to beat Liquid. Not on this occasion, not today. But we can definitely take maps. We can definitely show, you know, that this team isn't unbeatable. That we're a team that can be taken fairly seriously as well. As we see, the first links from both players crossing the map, just looking to get some scouting information. Slight worker lead for Poo-Poo right now, as both players have Zerglin speed on the way, and a couple more drones and a Baneling nest as well. Vortex actually spent a bit more money on a 3rd hatchery here, so faster 3rd hatchery for Vortex, and that's of course pretty nice, as we see Poo-Poo coming in and does see the 3rd hatchery, does see the Bane nest, the Ling speed, sees pretty much everything he would want to see at this sort of point of the game. See a Baneling nest on the way up for Poo-Poo as well, in his main base, as these Lings take down just a single Zergling over here. Cool. So, Vortex going to start with a few Lings of his own right now. Maybe a couple of defensive Banes. Might try and take a little bit of map control as his speed finishes up. Poke a little bit. See if he can get a little bit of damage done or so. 3rd hatch going to come down from Poo-Poo. And of course, he's going to make some Lings to try and defend this. Again, it's just kind of Vortex. Whatever opening he's done here, the slight differences to the opening of Poo-Poo is what's given Vortex a slight advantage right now. He's literally just had a much faster 3rd hatch, and he's even just a few drones ahead every now and then as well. So Vortex just a little bit more of an efficient opening here than his opponent, as he comes across the map right now to try and start being aggressive, but Poo-Poo is fairly well prepared to deal with this. A couple of Balins already in position though, as Vortex moved these across the map earlier, and actually he's going to get surrounded on this first Queen, and the Queen does fall here very quickly, so that's pretty nice as Balins continue to go off here from both players. No real major connections here, and nice save from Poo-Poo to keep that last Baneling alive, and just keep the threat there to kind of stop Vortex from just running in with these Lings and trading while he has a bit of a Ling advantage, as he's going to see him trying to run by. He just wants a bit of a scout right now. Back at home, Vortex is going up towards a lair already, so he's continuing to tech up. He's starting to go in towards, I imagine, Mutalisks actually. If we have a look at his gases, he's going up to 4 gases, which for the initial kind of roach play, you don't really need to go up to all 4 gases. Generally you see 3 gases, and then a little bit later on, after you've got a few roaches, you want to add in a few more ravages, you'll take them extra gases. We do see the lair coming down for Poo-Poo. He's actually going to go up to, yeah, so you can see from Poo-Poo, he's going up to 3 gases here, 3 extractors. And that's kind of what you would kind of be more kind of expecting to see for roach play. As the Slayer is finished up now for Vortex, and again, imagining to see that Spire coming down, and there it is. So Spire on the way, as we're going to see just a little bit of Ling Bane action towards the front. I'm just going to be looking to see what exactly will be going on into the mid game. Again, it's going to be the Mutalisk against Roach. Double upgrades coming down for Pupu. This is going to be nice for him because, I mean, against the Mutas, I mean, there's kind of two ways you can play. I mean, some players try and hit kind of a timing before the Mutalisk come out and just try and get a lot of damage done before, before Vortex would be ready for it. The other way is just to kind of be a little bit greedier and just say, right, be a little bit greedier, really just focus on droning, make sure I'm not going to lose kind of any lingering buys or anything. But focus on droning, focus on my upgrades, and get into a stronger composition, and just, be able to defend against these Mutalisks that are coming in, try and limit the damage I take, and just build up a bit of a stronger fighting composition. We actually see melee upgrades from Pupu, though. That's real interesting to me, at least. I wonder what he's going to try and go for here in the long run, then, with the melee upgrades. Maybe a fast tech up in towards Hive. He hasn't really been able to scout too much just yet, I guess he saw the gas a bit earlier. He never really saw the Spire, though. He'll see that now and confirm. So now he'll really be able to kind of go for whatever he wants to go for against this, and again, just confirms that's the Spire and just move out of here. So he knows what's going on, he knows what he is up against. Will he be able to, has he identified it soon enough? Is he going to be able to have, the setup he wants to deal with it? Let's see, as we see Spore Claws will start coming down. I like this, 2 Spore Claws here. It's a bit of an odd place because of this dead air over here. You can't really rely on Queens or anything to chase Mutas away, so a Spore to this side as well helps keep this gas alive. And we're going to see, wow, actually a lot of spores coming down here, 7 in total, so really going to be focused on just keeping these Mutalisks away, keeping them pinned back, and just building up himself behind this. But I mean, look at this, Vortex already beginning his transition, and what we'll probably see from him is probably a fast tech up in towards Ultralisks or so, I think. Kind of a... Yeah, it's a pretty popular way to play. I mean, just going into the Ultras kind of quickly off of the Mutas. The Mutas kind of distract, keep your opponent pinned back, stop them from attacking. By the time they finally have an army to come across the map and attack you, it's like, well, cool, that's very nice and all, but I've already got Ultras out. Now, there's going to be a upgrade lead here for Pupu, which is going to be nice. Again, he's going to deflect these Mutas very well initially, thanks to these Spore Crawlers. They're going to maybe find a way in here, but again, there's a Spore here. Maybe could have been here instead, which would have been a bit better. You're going to see the Bayonet taking some damage right now. Queen comes in to try and help out as well. He's just going to try and, do what he can, but not really going to do too much significant damages. We do see Hive on the way. We're going to see some Lings running up this ramp. Melee and Carapace upgrades have finished up here for Pupu, who tries to run up and tries to get past these Balins. He saves a few more Lings to run into the third base. These counterattacks have the potential to get a lot of damage done. So, is Pupu going to make something happen? He is already killing off a fair few drones in the third base, as we see some Balins connecting in the natural, and well, only 6 workers killed overall. That's not too many, as we see these Mutas moving out for Vortex. Hive again on the way for both players. Pupu not investing into +2/+2 upgrades just yet. As we see Vortex going to commit into a 4th base, and Vortex still with these Mutas will help the map control, and of course can afford to take that 4th base a little bit earlier on here. And the problem for Pupu is he doesn't really have anything to fight against the Mutas, He doesn't really have anything which can kill these Mutas at all. Nothing that's kind of mobile, only Spore Crawlers. So he can't really move out onto a 4th base of his own just yet. And again, in the long run here, his opponent's going to even up the upgrades. He's going to get into this Ultra Cavern. He's going to have Ultras and Mutas against just Ultras. And obviously, I think it's going to be the Mutas, which will help out a lot in terms of winning that sort of fight. As you see, again, Pupu just going to try and run by, try and waste some time here. He does have a lot more gas than his opponent, and that's worth keeping in mind. But again, I mean, he's going to have a lot more gas for what cause? Does he... his Fiesta Ultras, are they going to be enough against all of these Mutas? It's going to be interesting. Ling's going to try and take down this Queen, not going to be successful, however. 2 upgrades on the way for both players now, as, and again, not starting that for a while, will severely slow down Pupu. The Vipers will start to come into play, which is, of course, a great way to be able to deal with the Mutalisk, and Parasitic Bombs. But is it going to be enough? Because, of course, Parasitic Bombs are kind of spell which, with good control, you should be able to kind of negate as the Mutalisk player, as we see. 4th base will be cancelled, and Vortex is continuing to take advantages right now in this game. His 4th base already up, of course. He's 10 drones ahead. Now, the supplies overall don't really tell the story, because Pupu has a big bank. He's obviously waiting here to be able to start up his Ultras, to be able to spend that bank. As, again, the Vipers are now on their way out. They're starting to build up some energy, consuming over on the natural, or the 3rd base, so that they can come in and Parasitic Bomb these Mutas. Mutas at this sort of number don't really care about a couple of Spore Shots, and they will once again force to cancel onto this 4th hatchery right now. As we see, these Mutas will fall back once again. Ling's trying to run by again, and actually some Ling's going to try and take down the 5th base. That's nice, so something going Pupu's way for once here. As that Ultra Cavern finishes, he starts Adrenal Glands. We need to see him start, really need to see him start up his Ultras. And Chitinous Plating too. He needs that extra armor upgrade. As, again, at this sort of number, you just don't really care about the spores. And this has to be the problem, right? No real kind of mobile, kind of anti-Mutalisk players. The Pyrosonic Bombs will come down though, and Vortex. I mean, he splits well enough, right? As, oh, he pulls back together at the end there though. So quite a few Mews go down. That was a lot more effective than I thought it would be, especially with the way he was starting to split initially. Still no Chitinous Plating for these Ultralisks, and that's a big, big deal, as these Vipers need to be very careful they don't actually kill off this third hatchery. Few Mews still alive here, and they're picking away in the main base, as Pupu has so much gas that he just isn't spending, so much money in general that he isn't spending. And again, his Ultras will lose a fight just because they don't have that Chitinous Plating. There's a huge, huge upgrade that he's missing right now. As we see these Zerglings continue to run around, continue to look to see what they're going to try and get up to. They're going to run back into this third base, and I mean, the Vipers have already done most of the work for them here. He's not actually going to go after the hatchery, he's going to go for workers, as he splits into the natural as well. Mews is still in here, they kick down the infestation pit now. Oh, did he lose the Ultras Cavern? Oh, wow, he lost the Ultras Cavern to the Mutalisk at some point. Well, that's huge, and I mean, that could just be what is causing this kind of, well, we keep going on about Chitinous Plating. That's obviously why. Bad observing, bad caster, right? But man, he loses the third hatchery, he loses a bunch of workers in the natural, he lost his Ultra Cavern, so he's not able to actually build Chitinous Plating, he's not able to build more Ultras, which is his core kind of, it's his core unit in his composition right now. He's building so many more Zerglings, but nothing is looking his way, as we see Vortex pushing on forwards, looking to see if he can fight against this. There's a few Zerglings to tank, but I mean, Zerglings will melt to these Ultras, and again, the difference in armor should just tell the majority of the story in this engagement. You can just see it happening right here. The Ultras of Vortex are just going to go do way too much damage. Ultras are falling left, right, and center. And Pupu will have to type GG. Tap out of the game.